Can you talk about that? Did you get excited about our Lord Jesus first, excited about just sort of the Catholic whatnot, and then Jesus? How does that work in your life?
Probably Jesus.
Yeah. What got you fired up about Jesus?
I think the first thing was just like seeing other people get fired up about Jesus. And like my friends who like I admired and like people who I thought were cool and like fun people and like normal.
Yeah.
And like seeing them get into their faith was pretty big for me.
So friendship was very important to you in getting into the faith. Welcome to Vox Pauli, conversations with people past and present at Saint Paul's Catholic Student Center at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Welcome, Katie Crane.
Thanks, Father.
Catherine Crane, yes?
Yes.
And today is the feast of St. Catherine of Siena. Is that your St. Catherine who's your patroness or a different Catherine?
I'm not named after her.
Who are you named after? Which Catherine?
I'm not named after any Catherines. My parents just liked the name.
They just liked the name. So if you could be named at any Catherine, a saintly Catherine, which one would it be?
St. Catherine of Siena.
St. Catherine of Siena. She embodied what we call holy boldness, right? She's telling popes what to do. Are you a fan of holy boldness?
I am.
Do you feel like a bold person?
I don't know. Maybe in my own way.
Ooh, what way is that? Because I think you are. You are not an outgoing person, maybe, right?
Yeah, maybe a little more introverted than others.
Mm-hmm. But how do you think you're bold?
I think I'm bold in being myself, authentic.
Yes, I think that's exactly right in my opinion. That's what I say. Everyone who meets Katie, not some version of Katie. So where are you from, Katie?
I'm from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Home of the Green Bay football Packers?
Yes,
God,
big fan.
family, and the Green Bay Packers. Do you believe in that?
Yes.
Yes, me
big
too.
Fan of all three.
Rumor has it you were in Green Bay for the NFL draft recently.
I was.
Do you have any story from that? You sent me a picture of a bratwurst, which has context, but like, other than sending your pastor a picture of a bratwurst, what was something memorable at the draft?
We just like walked around the area and it was like, you know, like the license plate game where you try and get all the states, the 50 states. We tried to get every single jersey from all the NFL teams. Oh, right,
because all the people. Did you win?
We did win.
Nice.
I bet my dad that we wouldn't find all 32.
Ooh,
but
did you bet something or just bragging rights?
Just bragging rights.
Nice. Now, was it your father who taught you how to be a football fan or you just took to it naturally? You know, Dad?
My dad, yeah. But kind of living in Green Bay, you have to be.
It's what people do, right?
Yeah.
You can't go around Green Bay and say, I don't care about football. That's not an appropriate answer. Mm-hmm. What a happy place to live.
Yeah.
Did you like growing up there?
I did.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Notre Dame Academy.
Oh, that's a famous place. What can you tell us about Notre Dame Academy?
It's a Catholic school.
Yes, it is. Is it the Catholic school in Green Bay or are there other Catholic high schools?
It's the Catholic high school in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. It was good. I had a good experience. I was on the dance team all 4 years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was in the band for a little bit. I made good friends. I wasn't entirely into my faith in high school, but towards the end of it, I definitely grew in my faith.
What got you like excited about our... Can you talk about that? Did you get excited about our Lord Jesus first, excited about just sort of the Catholic whatnot, and then Jesus? How does that work in your life?
Probably Jesus.
Yeah. What got you fired up about Jesus?
I think the first thing was just like seeing other people get fired up about Jesus. And like my friends who like I admired and like people who I thought were cool and like fun people and like normal.
Yeah.
And like seeing them get into their faith was pretty big for me.
So friendship was very important to you in getting into the faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you come to the great megaversity, the University of Wisconsin at Madison, because that's where you always wanted to go, or how do you become a Badger? What's that story?
My dad went to UW-Madison.
Okay, legacy Badger, yeah.
So I did grow up around it. My dad was in the band, so like...
Chip off the old block.
Yeah. So I grew up around like their sports, Badger football and basketball, and that kind of played a part. I don't know if it was my first choice, but it was kind of just like where I was supposed to be. I wanted to go to Notre Dame in Indiana.
A theme here.
Yeah.
All right. And you applied?
I applied.
Good for you. Good for you.
I didn't get in.
Oh, it's tough. It's unbelievably tough. Yeah. So you come to Wisconsin like Dad, and you immediately find Saint Paul's, or that takes a minute?
Yeah, pretty immediately. Not really. I didn't know about it before I came here, but I looked up where the Catholic churches were because I knew I wanted to go to Sunday Mass, and I ended up here. And I think it was the first week of school when there's a push for freshmen to get into FIGs.
So you were in a FIG.
Yeah, I was in a FIG.
Yep. Who are your FIG leaders?
My FIG leaders were Allison Oman and Basha Claus.
Oh my goodness. That is a powerhouse pair right there. Now, did you find FIGs awesome, engaging, fun, friends, faith, or was this is a little awkward, but I'm going to keep coming, or something? How are the FIGs for you?
Somewhere in between that, I think. We were the only all-girls FIG, so I think I was a little disappointed about that I wasn't in a co-ed one. But
yeah, talk about that a little bit. Why do you think it is? Because I think it is, and I'm not against it in any way, but I think it's important. A lot of freshmen come in and say, I'm not that fired up about a sort of single gender small group. What was that like in you? You don't strike me as you were ever, quote, boy crazy. So I don't think that's what it was. Or was it?
Yeah, no. I think it's just coming into college, you want to make friends and you want to have fun. And
wait, are you saying boys make it fun?
Boys are fun.
Boys are fun, yeah.
Yeah.
But you had this all-girl and it's I know you're still friends with Allison today, and it seems like you've taken some inspiration from that. So what did you find, even though it was an all-girls FIG, that ended up being really fruitful? What was it about that?
It was the first opportunity for me to be able to talk about my faith. And the first time I was asked these big questions about who is God, who is Jesus, and why does it matter to follow your Catholic faith, because in high school that wasn't really brought up. It wasn't really a choice. It was just a subject that you learned about in school. Okay.
It's an academic conversation. It's not personal reflective.
Yeah.
Wow. And it sounds like you had a lot of freedom in the small group. You could ask the question and then answer the way you freely felt.
Yeah, it was great.
Now, you're a small group leader yourself.
I am.
How many years have you led a small group?
I started my junior year, so 3.
This is your 3rd year leading a group, right? Can you talk about that experience a little bit?
It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's fun getting to talk about the faith. It's also a struggle because you can't force other people to want to get into their faith.
Right.
You gotta encourage them in some way, and it's a balance of building friendships and being able to talk about the faith.
Building friendships and talking about the faith. That's kind of a rubric for St. Paul's writ large. Do you have any things that worked for you in trying to build friendships, things that worked rather than things that didn't work?
I like to let things happen organically, honestly. I went to morning prayer every day, starting my second semester, my sophomore year. And so just talking to people, finding people that I kind of knew, and I don't know, just making connections, finding something in common always helps. I think small groups help, and just being part of something, and when I was on SPK team, being part of something to
absolutely.
meet people. Yeah.
You get together around a common thing, it helps break things down naturally. And then people can really be their more authentic selves and find common things to do. And, I think one thing that's very impressive about you is you are yourself, and you have these things that seem a little anachronistic. First look at you, people don't say, that girl likes football. But you do, and it's part of experience, your knowledge when you enjoy it. Or that girl likes to dance. They might not immediately. I remember last year, the first time I walked past Whiskey Jack's at a respectable hour. And I look at this girl and I'm like, oh, that's Katie Cray. And they're like, oh, yeah, she likes to go to them. I'm like, so can you talk a little bit about that? It seems like it's a one-off. You're a nice Catholic girl. You got your sweater on and all those kinds of things. But then you like to go and do these things. Talk about how you find unity of life in that, how you express those things that you like, and also maintain a rhythm of, modesty and composure and all those kinds of things.
I think it's just important to be true to yourself and to God, both in like our desires are given to us by God. And so like, why not embrace them fully? But like according to his commandments, and because that's the way that we're going to live life to the fullest, is if we live according to God.
Do you have an experience of doing something according to your desire, which is given to you by God, but you noticed it pushing you to a way that would violate one of his commandments, and how you dealt with that? Again, I'm not asking you to tell your inner life, but I think of dancing. It's a good, natural, fun thing to do. I think we also know that dancing can maybe go a direction that's not healthy for us. Do you have any kind of experience of that directly, or thoughts about that? How people can follow desires of their heart, but when it comes up against a commandment or moral law, they can control it and purify it.
Yeah. It's hard because you grow up in the culture and they tell you that these things are okay. And then you learn that they're not. But I think just like having a prayer life has helped me with everything in my life. And just like growing to like hear your conscience and hear God's voice in your life. And so like when I go to dance, it's like I know like what wouldn't be pleasing to him. Would
you argue a similar thing for sport, right? Like, I'm also a huge Packer fan. I've been to many games. I know that not everyone there is acting maybe in a virtuous, moral way, and that your excitement can get the better of you. So I would, not just about sports or dance, but like that can be with anything. I'm just so fired up about this thing. And listen to your, so you think you fundamentally have learned to listen to your conscience in your prayer?
Yeah. What's your question?
Well, I'm saying we want to learn how to listen to our conscience. Again, I would argue you're a person to respect it deeply as someone who is naturally themselves, looks to find friendships, likes to do things that they enjoy doing, but has found a way to control them, yes, by listening to your conscience. So would you say you learned how to listen to your conscience fundamentally or principally by learning doctrine and knowing right from wrong? Or from just talking with God? I had this experience last night. I want to reflect on a little bit that it went well or poorly. How did that go for you?
Yeah, more the latter. Talking to God just makes things more clear. I'm not really one who like reads a lot or is like really knowledgeable. But I think I am able to be more attentive to the heart. And I don't know.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I think that's part of all of the gifts in the church. Maybe we're not going to put you up on the stage to do apologetics publicly, all right? But you are the one who like, all right, here's a young lady who wants to share issues of the heart that might involve asking a question. You can answer it. I think that's where you really start to shine. And have for some years. Do you feel like you've been in the rhythm of your personality for some years, or that's just sort of coming into your own right now?
For some years. It's been going along with the growth in my prayer life.
Absolutely.
But yeah, has not always been the case. It's really hard to grow up and like compare yourself to others, especially growing up around social media. And I've always like wanted to blend in, I think, and like be like other people and not really be myself. Like, I was always told by my teachers and stuff that like being quiet wasn't a good thing, even though that's like how I felt naturally that I was.
So you had to struggle with be this way because that's what the public culture accepts, and then learn how to respect that in its own sense, but then become my own self. Right?
Yeah.
Now, in that experience, you've come to this year as a pastoral intern.
Yes. And
what did you do as a pastoral intern this past year?
I was the retreats and service trips intern.
Yes, you were. Could you share any highlights from we're kind of looking back. It's the end of the year. Can you share any highlights from the year?
Lots of highlights. We put on like 7 or 8 retreats.
Yes, we did.
And they get kind of hectic. There's a lot of things to coordinate and make sure it's running smoothly. And that was stressful at first. But I've been praying the surrender novena before each one, and I've just been growing in surrender to God and been able to see how he's really the one taking care of everything. And
Yes.
I can't really mess
Yes.
things up that badly, and I can't really make things really go that well. It's all him.
But you can help make things go well.
Yes.
And like we could have responsibility to say like I could like not do my tasks and that'll be harder, but because we had the most people, if not ever, close to ever on silent retreats
Really?
this past year. Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially the dudes. Like the men were really awesome in the silent retreats this year. And Koinonia was spectacular and the winter retreat was spectacular. Now we have some new plans for winter retreat next year. Can you talk about that?
It's going to be big.
Big. We'll still be at the Green Lake Conference Center.
Yes.
But
we're going to be staying in hotels now, and we want to bring maybe double the people.
Yep. So more rooms, bigger spaces so we can
Venue,
have more
yeah.
people. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now you also, again, obviously we can't share particulars, but you had kind of a particularly unique experience on the most recent Koinonia. What happened there?
I got to go on it.
Yeah. Why was that? As a team member.
As a team member, yeah, I got to be a small group leader on SBK. Well, I don't even know.
We had so many girls
Yeah.
sign up. We need another female small group leader, and everyone unanimously agreed, Katie Crane.
Yeah. That was definitely a gift and a highlight from this year.
It was a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
wasn't it? That was a beautiful, beautiful week.
I love SBK. Everyone should go on SBK.
Everyone should go on SPK. What do you love about SPK?
I went on SBK my sophomore year, and I ended up going at like a time where I really needed it. And I think that happens with a lot of people.
That's true. There's something about it. When should I go? Well, go when you can, because you'll definitely go when you need to.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of prayer and sacrifice that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes it go so well. I felt very loved for the first time in a long time on SBK when I was a retreatant. And then I got to be on team twice, and I got to share that love, and it was just awesome.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And now we're looking to what's next. What's next for Katie Crane?
So I'm moving to Minnesota.
Oh my goodness. What's a sweet girl from Green Bay, Wisconsin moving to Minnesota? God bless all the Minnesotans. We love you. But what are you doing where in Minnesota?
Ghent, Minnesota.
Ghent, Minnesota.
It's a very small town.
Yes, it is.
Probably never heard of it, but it's because the Sisters of Mary Morningstar are there, and I'm going to be doing a discernment year with them.
A year of discernment with the Sisters of Mary Morningstar. Right? Mm-hmm. What was it that got you thinking about discerning the religious life?
I think as college students, we're always thinking about like what we're called to do in life. So it was always on my mind in my prayer and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think the first thing that like opened it up to me was going on Seek in St. Louis 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you see a bunch of like sisters in religious life.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere. And they were young and they were happy and they were like normal people. And so that just like, I think gave me the freedom to be like, maybe God.
That's when you got open to it.
Yeah.
Right. What would be some tips you might give to others, or at least things that worked for you from being open to it to start making a choice towards it?
To ask God every day mm-hmm. to like show his will to you and like what he wants to do with your life. It's not going to be clear before you like take steps. So like, I think I just had to take steps in a certain direction after a while, like after I was just like asking the question
entirely, yeah.
over and over again. I just had to like start talking to a sister just to see like what it was like, because otherwise like God's not going to like give me a huge sign like, yes, this is what I want for you.
Was that a frightening moment the first time you talked to a sister and kind of said it out loud?
Maybe.
Or was it a very consoling moment?
I think it was kind of consoling to be like, maybe I'm called to this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Any particular obstacles that came in the way that you'd be willing to share?
A lot. It's hard. I mean, it's
not everybody
scary.
Understands, do they?
Yeah.
And sometimes voicing misunderstandings can be tough.
Mm-hmm. It's just not what most people do.
Most people do, yeah. And it's not like back in the day where there was an order of nuns right over there, that kind of thing that we could have a common interaction with. So
lots of obstacles of like having fears, but they weren't really like based on anything real. Just like, could I be happy in this? Could I be like fulfilled in this kind of life? Like, that's the kind of questions I was asking.
Yeah. The big questions come up, don't they? And then just going to have to do it. So when will you move to Ghent?
In 2 weeks.
Isn't that wild? In 2 weeks from today. And in the midst of all this, we're going to elect a new pope.
Yeah.
Is that on your mind at all? I mean, it's on everybody's mind, but like...
Honestly, maybe not as much as on everyone else's mind.
No, I think that's a great natural answer. I don't think it's impious at all. I was asked just yesterday about, how the students were doing with the Pope, and I said, they're praying for the Pope, but they've got classes and exams. They're not thinking about, okay. But like when you get to Ghent, there'll be a new Pope.
I guess so.
This is beautiful, Katie. I think because you get into everyday rhythm of life. Because we're in a day or a time of saying lots of goodbyes now, are we not? Like, and again, that's one of the griefs of pursuing a religious vocation. You have to go to a particular place that's apart from all those things. Again, this might be a little bit too close, but like, what do you do to say goodbye in a good, healthy way? Or maybe you don't do that. I don't know.
No, it's good to say goodbye.
It is. I agree entirely. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's important to like process that like things are changing and like I'm taking a new step. To acknowledge all the good things that have happened over the last year and like all the people I love, and to let them know.
That's very beautifully said. Yeah. So those sweet, sweet things, because none of us are meant to stay here at Saint Paul's forever. Some longer, some shorter, but we all have to leave. So as you look back on 4 years as a student and a year as an intern?
Yeah.
Right? What kind of things might come up as say, like, these are things I think everybody should try to at least experience? I know there could be a lot, but what are some big things you might say?
In college or at St. Paul's or
Let's
anything?
say both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you strike me as someone who engaged the whole experience. You had a regular major, you did your studies, you had a number of friends who are not religiously practicing people, yet you were deep in the prayer life and had good religious friends. You're pursuing a religious vocation. You're an intern at St. Paul's. You seem to have that whole experience. I'm not telling you to track your whole career, but like, I think you're in a good spot to say, what were some significant things you would hope that everyone might be able to share in, or at least have an experience of in their own way?
I mean, like I said earlier, I think college is a good time to like ask the big questions, like what is the meaning of life, and like why are we here, and why are we like pursuing a major? Why are we trying to make friends? It's like there are actually answers to all these questions.
Yes.
And it's really fun to find them out.
Yes. That's so beautiful.
So I think everyone should experience life authentically. Like, don't like try and run away from it. Like I was like, it's easy to distract yourself in like social media and like be online, but like to live life and then to go to God and allow him to walk with you in it. Yeah.
And that's what I've admired so much, experiencing the real, whether that real is going to a Badger game on a Saturday afternoon, whether that real is trying to kneel down and talk to God in an authentic way, or whether that real is going to one of the dining halls with your friends, but not just hiding in your own corner staring at your screen or whatever. Let's not do that. Let's ask the big questions.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Katie. So, all right. As we conclude, is there any last word you would have for the people?
I've listened to like every Vox Pauli, and I was like, when it's my turn, I'm going to say something good. I got nothing. Love God, love others. That's the meaning of life.
That is the meaning of life. Katie Crane, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great summer, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.